Whenever a test comes along or a paper is due, I start freaking out. In my head, I think I'm not prepared for it or that I'm going to do terrible on it. And I'm sure many of you feel the same way. Maybe not about a test, but maybe an upcoming game that you have or even giving a speech. In college, there's many things that stress us out, and the majority of us don't know how to manage it. An article from the journal Behavioral Sciences states, a situation is evaluated as stressful in part whenever the individual perceives a lower ability to cope with it. Through my research, I have become very well informed on the ways to manage stress. I realized that what I thought was the right way to manage stress was actually the wrong way. So today I'm going to inform you on the causes of stress, the negative ways to manage it, and then the positive ways to manage it. So I'm sure the majority of you know what causes your own stress, but there's also other factors that play a role in it. In order for you to know how to manage stress, you first have to realize the cause of it. So the stressors are what cause us to stress out. So an article, according to a Ruth Chow article, college stressors have wide varieties from academic work to uncertainty about the future. So examples of stressors could be having excessive homework, the pressure to do well, problems with fitting in, and possibly choosing a major. But keep in mind that stressors vary depending on the situation. There's positive stressors, which means that you can be in a happy situation, like going off to college, but you could also be stressed out because it's a new environment and you have to meet new people. There's also negative stressors, as in cramming for a final or having a research paper due that you didn't even start yet. So now you know that the cause of stress is stressors. In college, the biggest pressure is probably to do well. I'm sure all of you think you know how to manage your own stress, but you're probably doing it wrong. Stress can be managed in a negative way. This is called dysfunctional coping. According to a journal of college counseling, dysfunctional coping refers to strategies with little or no effectiveness. There's 3 aspects to this. So focusing on venting of emotion, as in taking out your anger on your friends because you feel like it helped you relieve your stress, but it actually didn't. Behavioral disengagement, which is when you try to stop dealing with your stress, but it's actually still there. And then there's mental disengagement, which is the idea of out of sight, out of mind. So you can think you took your mind off of the stress and you forgot about it, but it's actually still there and didn't help at all. So in college, dysfunctional coping prevails. A study done by Severus shows 5 main ineffective ways that college students try to reduce stress. This is through browsing the internet, sleeping and resting, using instant messaging, complaining, and watching TV or movies. So the majority of you are probably managing your stress in the wrong way. So now I'm going to tell you the right way to manage your stress. Stress can be managed in a positive way. One way is through relaxation or meditation. This allows you to develop concentration abilities and it heightens your senses of well-being. Studies show that meditating 4 days in a row for 20 minutes helps you perform better on your tests. The second way to manage stress is through exercise. I know most of you probably don't have a lot of time, but if you take 20 minutes out of your day, it actually helps you reduce your stress. It releases your tension and anxiety, and it gets your mind off the everyday stress because it's a diversion. The third way to manage stress is by having social support. A study done by Bridget Chow shows college students who receive low social support are more vulnerable to stress than those with higher social support. So going to your family, friends, and talking about your problems with them, this is actually having a high social support because they'll come for you. Lastly, time management is a good way to manage your stress. Bean and Hammer conducted a study that showed 55% of students report they have to ignore one subject to prepare for another subject. So by managing your time, you wouldn't have to ignore one subject, it would be balanced out. So I suggest looking at your schedule and then planning out when your tests are or when papers due, so then you aren't freaking out at the last minute. So now you know how to manage your stress efficiently. There's always going to be stressors, especially in college, but if you use the tips I gave you today, it'll help you manage your stress. Remember, when you're stressed out, don't disengage yourself or take out your stress on other people. It might make you feel better for an hour or 2, but the stress will still return. Try exercising because it's a very helpful way to relieve your stress. And also call your parents or friends if you're feeling really overwhelmed. Lastly, take a couple minutes and meditate. Clear your mind and relax. So when you have a paper due, a test coming up, or a big game, just remember that college is always going to be stressful, but how you manage it is